Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, look at my face, pay me respect. Please do not play with my line. If you want taste, what you gon' get? Shit that gon' bury your mind. All as at stake, where is my check? Need every nickel and dime. You play with my race, put you in check. For stopping the vision to climb. They mad that these niggas done woke up and now all our visions to go. Where is the bag to get us a quarter? Yeah, that is the mission and goal. Staying on cold. Some of y'all doing too much. Straight up be looking like hoes. Never gonna grow. Can't count on you in clutch. Most of y'all doing the most. Like this is a show. Doing it for entertainment. Or you're doing it for clout. Or you're doing it to sit at the table with crackers for words in your mouth. I don't play with enslavement. These are the days of the South. These days we play differently. This is what black empowerment's about. Wait, I said there's no time for no friends. Either you with us against us, don't switch it, cause one of us die in the end. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on the lens. Watching the ops despising the picture cause they wanna see the one end. Hey, caution, wait, these do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my line. I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Hold on, wait. See a black man doing great with black-owned businesses, building in a different state. Why you snakes way late in the grass, plotting on what you can take? Black money in the black bank, mean black money is safe, protected, like it's heavily protected. If he ever feels threatened, then he go with lead and knock him off his check. Please check this. For the record, he can never be weak. Disrespecting any checking your cheek. Reppin' said he reppin' red, black, and green. Never fall, won't break. There's no limit to what I do for mine. Where your soul, they don't take come up with the anger and hate up all of my ancestors combined. You wanna get one time? I keep it fully loaded, extended in the fully auto effing to keep you from crossing that gun line. Get you in violation. I ain't never shot a caveman. You be the first, I'ma give you this work. You get in the way of my occupation, yeah. Like I'm the boss and I don't like the way that you talking. This is my office, get permission before you walk in. The yellow table cause the door is caution.
Wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Welcome, family, to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, your brother Blacksmith, and your sister Marcia will be joining us shortly. We got a lot to discuss, and we're going to hopefully get out of here a little early tonight because, you know, K Fighter got 100 jobs. I got a conference call that I got to make. And so many things happening this weekend, but we'll get into all of that. Let's get some shout outs real quick. Aunt Marie, Uncle Jesse, Peasy on the check-in. What's good, family? What's good? Love y'all to life, for real. K Cool, what's good? Sister Keisha, what's good with ya? Jamaica family in the building. Sister Amanette, too, the Midwest crew. Happy belated birthday to you. Like how I rhyme that. Boy, don't play with me. Brother Blacksmith laughing at me behind the scenes. You ready, Brother Black? You ready? He said, yeah, give it a thumbs up. What's good, Brother Black?
Why you calling me out before I even get on here? What's up with that? Peace, sis. How you?
Salute to you, brother. How you been?
Chilling, ready to go. I'm gonna let you have it until you're ready to question me, and then we in there.
That's what's up. Brother Tad getting ready behind the scenes. He'll be with us in a minute. North Kakalaki family in the building. Brother Peace. What's good, family? What's good? You know, a lot of things have happened this past week, but we gonna get into all of that. I mean, you got political things happening. We got, I don't know, it's just some of everything happening. But we gonna get into all of that tonight, family. What's good, Brother Ray and the BK William Mackey History Club? Brother Ray, I don't know. You caused some trouble with that jar with Trust Graham last week, boy. Some people in their feelings about it, brother. They in their feelings about it. But you know, it is what it is. You got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't be, picky with history. You can't be selective with history. You understand? You got to do what you have to do. But in the meantime, let's see. I think Brother Tad, he'll be with us in a second. He working it out. He working it out. He working it out. He working. He said, give me the thumbs up. You ready, Brother Tad? Brother Tad in the
yes,
building.
ma'am.
Taddy,
Peace, Brother Black. Peace, Sister
Sister
Keisha.
Farnessa, a BB for Hodier to you as well. I like your book selection, sis. I've been checking it out. I like that book selection. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Yes, Brother Peace. I mean, trust is no joke. Much respect. You got to give. Listen, when you are researching and studying history, or anything for that matter, that piques your interest, it's beneficial that you learn the good, the bad, and the ugly. We cannot hide unsavory things in our history because when you do that, you are doomed to repeat it. And that's what those who are called our leaders are doing. They're repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. History is not pretty. You can't tell everything that Yoruga was doing and everything everybody else is doing, but you want to hide what you're doing as bad. I mean, listen, cut the nonsense and get out of your feelings with it, because I'm not the one at all. So we're going to tell the whole story over here. Brother Ray say, all right, I got you, Brother Ray. I got you.
Hey,
You
Sister
got it,
Keisha.
Sister Farnessa, because your book selection was tight. Your book selection was tight. And I know Brother Tad is reading The Delectable Negro. Now, Brother Tad, give us your take on that book so far, because it's a real difficult book to read. I mean, when you look at the diabolical nature of these wicked beasts and they're, oh, go ahead, Brother Tad. Tell them about the book, The Delectable Negro.
Well, I thought medical apartheid was tough to get through, but this one definitely takes the cake. It speaks about the homoeroticism of European men. Just putting that, as we know, many of us who have read for years and studied our culture as well as European culture for so long, we know. But those who aren't familiar, a lot of things that was placed on us, such as cannibalism, actually has been them eating their own people, but then eating us, believing that our flesh has a superpower that can keep them alive longer. And I'm still not through the book, Sister Keisha. It's kind of hard, And I'm a person who watches.
It's a difficult read. It's a very difficult read.
Because the thing is, this is the thing, I could watch horror movies like Saw and all that. I know that's fake. But what has really happened to our people, and a lot of this is new information to me also, as much as I've read, as much as I've studied, there's always more to learn. So I'm in my infancy stages and understanding and hearing firsthand accounts of how they're true cannibals. You've heard it in passing, but this book delves into that, and sometimes they try to skim over certain incidents and occurrences. But it's just, if you read A Medical Apartheid, that's almost like child's play compared to The Delectable Negro. And that's why it's called The Delectable Negro. And this is something we have to understand, because sure enough, as we look at the entertainment industry and we see that more people are openly practicing devil worshiping, and we think it's just folklore when we talk about them drinking children's blood and eating the flesh of these missing people. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. As sure as you see in some restaurants, they found that human flesh has been served. I think even on one of those cooking shows, somebody had.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Sister Keisha.
Really, on one of them cooking shows?
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about in modern times, in our times, maybe in a couple of years ago. But they are openly letting you know who they are. And for years, we've been blowing the Akko bend, sounding the warrior horn, letting our folks know, like, yo, these people are not what they appear to be. And then when we look at the history of who they are, when they didn't think that it would rear its head, or maybe they did know. Maybe this was subtly how they introduce us to all of the debauchery that they got going on this day and age. Because we see Kim Kardashian talks about what they call it, blood treatments.
Yep.
Where
They got blood bars here in the city, in New York City. They
yeah,
got
this is
blood bars.
a real thing. This is a real thing. They are the real monsters. They would tell.
Marie said that was a difficult read for her as well.
Yeah. It's crazy. I'm struggling to get through it. You know, so we think of medical apartheid. We think without sanctuary. We think of 100 years of lynchings. These books that talk about the murder and just the mutilation we were subjected to. But we're not even talking about the forced sterilization. You know, sterilizations. Yeah, that book was hard. That's all I can say.
I feel you, brother. It's definitely a difficult read. And speaking of these horrors, I don't know if you know the story of William Mallory. William Mallory, in his obituary, let me tell you how diabolical these people are. In his obituary, he talked about and gloated about having Nat Turner's skin and skull. Yeah, it's in his obituary. Remember, they used his skin and made grease out of it.
Yes.
I mean, this
Didn't they make
here's an
back?
article. Here's an article right here, and it talks about William Mallory, also known as Buck, gloated gloated so much about having skin Turner that it was listed in his own obituary. Turner's skull was not the only one in circulation. 19th century newspaper occasionally advertised that a decapitated head had been discovered. Sometimes they were found on trains, left on the side of the road, or impaled on stakes, to deter our people from revolting. So this diabolical nature is nothing new, and they brag and boast about it, Brother Tad and Brother Black. This, when we talk about reparations, it's more than the physical enslavement of our people. It's decades and centuries of abuse. And right now, I don't know if you guys know, I know the panel here knows, but there are many brothers and sisters who are coming up hung from trees. Hung from trees in just 2 months. You had two more of these situations. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy, diabolical in nature. And when you look at a lot of our politicians that people have sent to Washington, who are still arguing the point of us having the right to be, is sickening. That hundreds of years since 1870, we still have the same arguments since 1870. To me, now, I'm a person who thinks in logic. If we're arguing the same points for centuries in the same mediums, it means it's ineffective. So why would we continue to engage in it is beyond me. It's beyond me. And when you look at a lot of these black selected officials, they are toting the party line, meaning there is no specific legislation for black people that whites are bound to respect. Going back to Justice Taney, no Negro has any rights that whites are bound to respect. Last week we talked about William Trotter. William Trotter's father ingrained in him that message that you have no rights that a white man is bound to respect. So you better stand 10 toes down on everything. He was very hard on his son, very, very hard on his son, because he wanted his son, one, not to back down from these folks. Because remember, William Trotter's father, his mother, some people say was a relationship. I beg to differ. But her relationship with the Shirugu produced these children, of which he did take care of. This is why William Monroe Trotter had money, allegedly. His father took care of him, sent him, his siblings, and his mother to live on the outskirts of Cincinnati, Ohio, right? Where it was the norm for mulatto children to live and to be free, if you will, with the funding of their slave fathers. The Dumas Hotel, if you look the history of the Dumas Hotel in that area, it was a hotel specifically for women of slave owners and their children. You guys can look it up at your own time when you feel like it. But I'm just saying, when you look at all of this history, all of this diabolical turmoil that we've lived under, and to continue to believe in such a system that it will give us any realm of justice is crazy. Right now, you have a young man fighting for the right to attend school because he was kicked out for wearing locks, even though you have the Crown Act, allegedly to protect black people so that we can wear our hair the way it comes out of our head or how we want to. But that school said, you have no rights that we are bound to respect. And they expelled that young man from that school. I can't remember his name right now. It'll come to me. But what was the use of passing the Crown Act if it's ineffective? Black politicians are ineffective. And I don't understand why we keep playing this game, this belief system. Listen, I'm not telling you not to vote, because right now you have about 463, I think, or 65 House seats that are up right now. If you're going to vote for somebody, vote somebody who you think or who you know will fight for you, not for everybody else. When you look at legacy politicians like a John Lewis, you know, I had this conversation with some family members in a text message earlier this week, I think. But that man did nothing for our people, nothing. There is no legislation that protects the rights of any black people. I dare you to go look for it and find it. You come back and you tell me. Go ahead. You look at all of these black politicians, I don't care where they come from, brothers. There is no legislation that protects us because, as Justice Roger Taney said, you have no rights that we are bound to respect. And it's living today. You still have to have a Voting Rights Act. I thought you were granted the right to vote. Why you got to keep passing the Voting Rights Act if you have that right? It's a farce. It's a farce. I'm gonna step off my soapbox, brother Black. Your thoughts on Black politicians and if they are effective for us.
They're effective for their family, friends, boule, and that's about it. For us,
Thank you for that truth.
yeah, that's it. I mean, there's nothing else to that. And anybody should know that.
Facts. But right now, you have a push, if you will, battling for the Black vote. Why do they need it and you get nothing out of it?
We just go to Quebutter.
I told you many times before, you are the bread and butter of a system that is built to destroy you. And they've convinced you to engage in it so that when it's all said and done, they can point the finger back at you and say, well, you voted for it. Right now, Black people is in a tizzy with these migrant situations. And yes, there are gangs, heavy gangs. Go to Midtown Manhattan. You can see them. They tatted up and everything. You can see it. You can see it. But if you're in New York City, for example, and you can use the same philosophy for wherever these sanctuary cities are. Tell me why in New York City did you vote Bill de Blasio in 3 goddamn times? Why did you do that? At any time did he tell you he was doing anything for you? Listen, Vice President Kamala Harris herself said, I'm not going to do anything just for Black people. No, that's what those are her words, not ours. But the Asians got a hate crime bill.
Quick.
Ukraine got billions and still getting money. Israel got billions and still getting money. Developers are getting billions and billions of tax breaks.
Don't forget about them Jews in New York with Kathy Hochul and that 183 million.
I'm just saying, what legislation have any of these people passed that's going to help us? You still on the bottom of the totem pole. You've got to be mentally disturbed to continue to participate in this. I'm going to get off my soapbox because I'm getting hot and I'm getting a little frustrated with our folks because we've come too far. Information is at your goddamn fingertips. We cannot continue to be stupid. But, Brother Tad, your thoughts?
Yeah, I often wonder, what is it that makes us so naive and not recognize the enemy as such? And the enemy is ignorance. And it's unfortunate that we still, to this day and age, we still buy into the rhetoric and the propaganda of what's being sold to us as in our best interest. Because everybody just say, wait, things are changing. Aesthetically, it looks like it's changing. Every time I walk around Brooklyn, I'm just looking up like a tourist. I don't recognize Brooklyn anymore. It literally looks like a new Manhattan. And I think of all the brothers that were slain on these streets. One of my brothers, Brother A. Rashid, told me years ago when he came home to visit, he said, these folks like living on graveyards. And I said, what you mean? He said, come on, bro, think about the blood-soaked corners. He said, they know what they did to us in these ghettos. He said, it's all over. And then I thought about it. Yeah, they know. This is part of their plan. But then you think, as young people, they literally hang out, get drunk, have sex, smoke dope at graveyards. These are people infatuated with death. They enjoy it. They love it. They mock it. They mimic it. They celebrate and rejoice in it. And we're a group of people that love life. But unfortunately, with us following their behaviors, we slowly but surely stopped loving life and we started loving death and becoming infatuated with it. So when you look at all the new artists that are pushing the death culture, who are the artists and who are they promoting it to? Ice Spice, Little Nas X, Tyler the Creator, all of the artists that our young people, our young children, listen to and look up to. And this is done intentionally. And in fact, I just found out that Little Nas X is supposed to be doing some type of gospel album, but in the videos and the album cover, he's mocking Jesus. Now, I'm no Christian in the traditional sense. However, I understand that some things are sacred to certain groups of people. So whether I believe in a religion or not, to mimic it and things like that, to imitate it, and that is blasphemous. You know, we have to have a level of respect for people's opinion and their belief system. We don't have to agree with it, but you'd be hard pressed to find me playing around like I'm hanging on a cross or something like that. It's not cool, it's not fly, and it's sending a message to young, impressionable minds. But this, again, is done intentionally. These people control the images and the misinformation that's going out to our group as a mass. So when Black folks get this information, seldom do we ever double check the facts. Seldom do we critique it and say, well, what's the big idea with telling me this? Why are they telling me this? Why are they selling me fear? But again, we went to their schools. We're not taught how to think. We're taught what to think. Anything they say, they're the authority, so they know what they're talking about. And we silence our own consciousness, our own right reasoning and right knowledge, just to accommodate a group who mean us no good. Because on the surface, they act like they're the saviors of the world. Whether Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Bill Clinton, Sleepy Joe, you name it. They always sell us the great white hope. And we don't know our story well enough to draw off the inspiration of our people doing some astronomical things that these folks could only put into cartoons and science fiction. You can never find a Harriet Tubman nowhere in other people's history doing the phenomenal things she's done. You'll never have an orator and an upright man like Brother Malcolm X. You won't have a man that can organize people for the right reasons outside of Garvey and Elijah Muhammad. The things that we've done with nothing, with so much against us, is phenomenal in itself. But if we knew that, we would know that these little fake obstacles, these little fake images they putting on the television screen don't move us, don't phase us. But as long as they keep dumbing us down, catching our young people early, Sister Keisha, Brother Black, catching our children early with this self-hate, subconsciously planting images of self-hate in our young people, but on a broad stage saying we love everybody. But we are not everybody. Black people are not everybody. We're a unique group of people. From the beginning of time, we were the first. Nobody has been hated on this planet like us. They hate Black folks more than they hate gays. I think the Klan would rather deal with a white gay man than a straight Black man. And we know these things to be true. They demonstrate it all the time. But subconsciously, that's part of their culture, and they know it. So there's so much that we have to agitate the consciousness to our people to help them open their first eye, as our brother Black Dot would like to say. Not their third eye, but their first eye. Open your mind. See things the right way. Because all we're being fed is lies and misinformation and confusion. And unfortunately, our folks have so much self-hate that they don't even listen or take the word of anybody that looks like them and trying to give them the right information. Because all they want to do is drink, sex, get high, spend money, and be seen. Celebrating failure every single day. Get
Isn't
up.
that insanity?
Yo, it is. Because I live here in Brooklyn. I live here in Bed-Stuy. Sister Keisha, we are of the age, we're probably the last of our cloth from Brooklyn, where we respected our elders. We knew our place in the world, where we look out for the elders and protect the children. And we respect each other as a group, as a peer group, because we know we're not going to make it by ourselves. But what has been done now is so much individualism, so much violence among our young people. It's unbelievable. It's just crazy.
It is. And to continue on with what we're talking about, here is a clip of comedian Godfrey talking to Vlad, who I despise. But we're going to play this clip and listen to the realness of what the brother is saying. Here we go.
You just don't like black people. Plain and motherfucking simple. You do not like black people. It is very obvious. For hundreds of years, we've been the most hated. The most hated. But within that hatred comes the hypocrisy of loving our culture. You've made trillions off of our motherfucking culture. You know it. You made money off our culture. Let's be real.
100%.
You made money off our culture. White musicians, all of them have made money off of black fucking culture. All of rock, all of jazz, motherfuckers, all the shit we created from the oppression, which is fucked up in itself. The oppression and the fucking abuse and the rape and the putting down of us, we create blues, jazz, rock and roll, reggae, ska. We invent all of that shit. And to top it off, we invent all the modern shit that you all use. From the video game cartridge, Henry Lawson, We got the pacemaker, Otis Boynton. We have the late Dr. Bath, who created the laser eye surgery. We have Dr. Gladys, who's still alive, who's almost 80 years old, who created GPS. We have the guy who created the algorithm for Instagram, who's a 21-year-old Ghanaian kid. We've done all this shit. Then the internet was discovered by a Nigerian guy in the 80s. Like, we've done all of this innovation, even though we've been shit on and continue to be shit on every motherfucking day, right? Because nobody wants us to live anywhere. Nobody wants us to have this unless we're playing sports for them. Like I said, unless we're academically, right? No, I'm sorry, athletically or sexually satisfying motherfuckers. That's all black people are good for. We're supposed to be at people's beck and fucking call when they want us to entertain them or make them some kind of money. But if we ask for being autonomously wealthy on our own, being autonomously having our own shit, all of a sudden everybody pitches a bitch. Everybody has a fucking hissy fit. People get mad when you don't want us in your neighborhood. You don't want us in your schools. You don't want us doing anything. But then when we say, hey, okay, that's cool, because Muhammad Ali said in the 60s, he said, hey, man, I think we should have our own state. I don't want to live amongst you motherfuckers. They were like, well, why not? You don't want us around. You're segregating everything. And then as soon as we want to go, white people start panicking. White people panic. But, we don't want to be around you, so you can call us niggas, and we're tired of white cops shooting us. We're tired of this pissing contest that these white cops have because they're afraid of black dicks for some fucking reason, because most of this shit is black dick envy. We're tired of that shit. So what about this? Why don't we just give us what you owe us, and we can go on and do our own shit? But no, they don't want that. White folks especially hate autonomous black happiness. They do not like when we are by ourselves doing our own shit. They cannot stand that shit. They don't even like us in a group. Like in Chicago, there used to be a thing. If you were 5 or more black guys on the corner, the police break it up. It's called mob action. It's like, what's going on here? If you're at work and you're a black employee and you're talking to another black employee, the white boss go, hey, what's going on over there? You know what I mean? I went to a very white university. And then when the black students hung out with each other, the white students would be like, oh, you guys hang out. You don't mix with us. I go, are you fucking kidding me right now? You delusional clown. It's 40,000, 45,000 white students and 800 black. Who the fuck you think I'm going to hang out with? They would do shit like this. Anytime they see us get together in any kind of way, we could be at a cafe and black people could just be drinking coffee, laughing. All of a sudden, white people are like, oh boy, Negro so loud. Excuse me, can we turn down this Negro sound? It's like fucked up. Like anytime we have our own shit, Whites always got to have their hand in our shit. They always got to be part of it. And if they're not part of it, then we're back to being niggas. We're back to being coons and spades and all this other dumb shit.
Well,
you understand where I'm coming from?
Well, let's bring it back to our point here.
Okay.
So, excuse the language, but I just wanted you to understand that a blind fool can see what's going on here. A blind fool can see what's going on here, and we have to see what's going on here. We really have to, and I keep saying this, and I don't know why people are so afraid. Well, I do know why. I do know why. Because when you tell people that they have to finance their own freedom, that's problematic. We're used to having our leaders put it all out on the line for us and die with nothing.
And you know it's crazy.
Their leaders don't do that. Their leaders don't have to suffer that. Only us. Only us.
You know it's
and
crazy.
That's problematic. Go ahead, Brother Ted.
It don't even cost us nothing. Granted, we would have to organize our money, but all we have to do is change our minds. Stop buying into the things they say. Stop allowing them to tell us who our enemies are when clearly they have been the enemy since we made contact. Seriously. It don't cost us nothing to say, I don't believe that. The new Jordans coming out, I'm not buying those. You want me to vote for him? I'm not voting for him. How much does that cost? I mean, but we've been mentally conditioned. Misinformation at that about the power of the dollar. Because it's all based on money, right? But then there's a book called The Psychology of Money. And it talks about how people view money. And it's a dope book. It's a dope book. And it says, based on how we was raised and what we were taught about money determines our relationship with money. It says you could be the smartest person from a poor family or poor community, and you still won't do as well as the dumbest person from a rich family or a rich community because of their relationship with money. Our views on money are totally different. And I thought that was powerful. Because I think about all the smart people I know with college degrees and all this, that, and the third, but still work in the office with me or still live in our communities. And then I think dumb people in their family, like C students like a George Bush Jr., who's rich, and a Donald Trump, who's rich. And they're not the brightest dudes from their community, but they're richer than our smartest people in our community because of the relationship with money. And that's a very important thing because even when we get money, let's say we get our checks, what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with that money? And that's very important that we look into that, you know?
Got you. Sister Marcia, you ready? She said no, she's working on some things. But I want you to look at this story. State investigators awaiting autopsy results of black man discovered hanging from a tree in North Georgia forest. Now, this is amongst many that are happening right now. This is problematic. And we don't like to really deal with it. We are still dealing with lynchings today. Today. Not 200 years ago, not 500 years ago. I'm talking about today. Again, if there were anti-lynching bills on the table over 200 years ago, and we're still discussing it, this is problematic. Organization of political thought is very, very important. I'm saying it again. Organization of political thought is very, very important. What do I mean by that? Well, you have white Latinos who understand the power of numbers, who speak to a demographic that they could care two F's about. However, that demographic holds weight in the economic realm of that vote. For example, you got AOC running around here talking about hands off the migrants and all this old kind of stuff, when she knows it is contradictory to the legal residents who live in her district. However, if she doesn't advocate that point, it could be dangerous for her in keeping her seat in that office. Nobody fears us. Joe Biden said on a Zoom call to selected Black folks that we, Black folks, gonna have to get behind the Latino, the Hispanics. That we're gonna have to go to the Hispanics for what we want. That's what he said. But Black people went out and voted for this geriatric fool anyway. And Donald Trump is no better. And now you seeing his talking heads really releasing the venom against Black people.
I think you meant his talking feet.
That too. So disrespectful. But you got Black people out here. I'm voting for Trump. For what? We got money with Trump. No, you didn't. You didn't get no money with him. What you got was my tax dollars. That's what you got. And a lot of y'all getting pulled up for it. A lot of you are getting pulled up. You got in trouble with them PPP loans, didn't you? A lot of y'all got fat times, didn't you? Because you thought you can play the game too. It's different for you. It's different. Look at, unfortunately, the case of Wendy Williams, right? This docufilm that was released, terrible to watch. However, when you look at the millions and billions that she made for the Yoruba, millions she made for herself, completely seized. Just like Kanye, seized. So when I hear Black people say, oh, all we need to do is get our money up. Okay. When you have nothing to protect it, and I'm going to keep saying it, they're going to take it from your dumbasses. And they keep proving it. But you believe that because we don't want to really do what needs to be done, Brother Tad. We don't. We don't. And I clearly understand what Ya Asantewa was talking about, and Queen Nzinga was talking about, and Queen Mother Moore was talking about. We're going to catch the brunt of it. Have you not seen the recent attacks on Black people from state to state that have been taking place in the last couple of weeks? In the last couple of days? I told you, you're going to catch the brunt of it. Now you see all of these neo-Nazi groups coming out of the woodworks again. You see the firing of Black people left, right, and center from jobs. See, you think these people are playing. They are not. They are not. You got these goddamn migrants who tell you, nah, we here to work. We here to get that free tax dollars. We taking y'all money. That's what they saying. It ain't what we saying. Am I right, y'all? Have you seen those videos? Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, do you have the videos queued up? Because remember, I was working with the migrants. And remember, I kept saying the level of violence, the criminals, their gangs. I mean, I don't know what this is really going to take, Sister Keisha. But one thing I do know is those of us that know better got to show better. Because the only thing we can do is organize amongst ourselves, and then pistols and passports. Pistols and passports. If we're going to stay, we got to be ready to defend ourselves. But if not, we got to go somewhere and regroup. Because this ain't it. Dr. Claude Anderson told us years ago. He said by 2015, we're going to be a permanent underclass. Now, look, our cries are ignored. Look at our people in Chicago. Look at our people in Chicago can't even send their children to school. This is really crazy. This is really crazy.
In my opinion, what I'm thinking is like how they do, we spin out of those cycles and start new stuff. So if our kids can't go to school, start your own homeschools at home. You now have a viable and legal reason, or viable, let's say viable because it's not legal at this point, but a viable reason to take your children out of school and charge the government back for your tax money because your children are not in school, so you can educate them at home.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Black, but here's the issue. A lot of the parents ain't smart. See, I'm waiting to send my kids to Dr. Sukiana's school, but
right.
they just stepping on the brother toes, you know?
Well, I'm talking more on a local level. I'm talking more Chicago because he more than likely he's not going to open a school in Illinois. So what I mean, I'm being serious when I say this, Tad, and I know what you're saying. I'm not trying to. Okay, I'm not trying to cut your wisdom. The point I'm trying to make, real talk, is we complain when we see. Well, us three, I believe, are visionaries, as well as Sister Marcia, which she's already doing, by the way. So what I'm saying in light of that is, of course, we can't all open homeschools. I mean, you know, there are people, but what you can do, I've been saying this for a long time. Y'all know me long enough to know that I've been saying this for the longest time. Other countries that, like France is a good example. Maybe one or two other countries, Italy too. What they do when they're against their government, the government is totally out of pocket. They do work strikes. And you have to respond to that because businesses go out of business without people working there. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. But let's move a couple of steps ahead.
Go ahead.
Because even with the homeschooling, I was joking about Dr. Sukiana's school. But the fact of the matter, a lot of parents aren't educated enough to equip the children with the information they need. So shout out to our brother Marcus Klein in the Freedom Academy and Dr. Walima Baruti in his school, Akko House, you know, his tutoring program, the Akko House, because we have to have a certain level of consciousness to even educate our children. And if you do have that level of consciousness, then you're already doing this with your children at home, right? But here's the thing about the strike. These people are here already. They got a whole new workforce just waiting to take over. Like, go ahead, Negro. I dare you to strike now. I dare you to strike. I got about 10 Cubans and Brazilians and Venezuelans sitting right outside waiting for your job for half the money. So go ahead. And that's the caveat, you know, that they have. Like, all right, you want to play this game. Y'all was the labor force at one point, but we done opened the floodgates for a whole new group of people because we never talk about the Asians. Because see, we're talking about low-level work. We're talking about entry-level positions.
Right.
You know, we're not talking about the computer programmers and the entrepreneurs and all of these folks that's coming in. Right. The Asian folks that's coming in with bigger ideas to take over the communities. Because even here in Bed-Stuy, when I look at who's filling these new luxury apartments, a lot of them are young Asian people. I'm like, where are they getting the money from for a $3,000, $4,000 studio apartment? What kind of money they getting? And to have a brand new car and afford New York insurance. Come on, like, yeah, so they waiting for us to play that game. And here's the thing. This is why the consciousness and information is so important, because we have to organize on a level that's not above ground, but more so underground amongst ourselves. Like I said, you never see Asian people boycott anything because they talk about it amongst themselves. They don't stand outside of our businesses with picket signs. They just don't go. But the moment they open a restaurant or a hair salon in our hood, we running with our money in our hand, not realizing that all of this is war. All of these are strategies of war. And we're voluntarily slaughtering ourselves by financing their revolution, because they see it for what it is. We're the ones who don't understand how the game is played. So the first thing we got to do is change our mind, get the right information, find the right people with the right, because we got a lot of quacks in our community that's posing as leaders. And no, that there has to be, how can I say, a coalition of tried and true organizations. And that's not happening. I don't see it happening amongst the elders because a lot of people don't want to go brains, but we talk about it all the time. Peace, Sister Marcia.
I want to play this clip. Listen to what they are saying, and then we'll come back with Sister Marcia. Here we go.
Island migrant laid out the scam. Break in, drop a baby, and be a welfare king.
A todas esas mujeres.
To all those women that find themselves pregnant and are in Latin America, please come have your baby in the United States. And if you get married, you'll get more back in taxes. And, well, if you have 5 or 6 children, can you imagine? My daughter is American and she gave me citizenship. She pays our rent. She pays our bills. She gives us $1,500 a month since she was born. I have 6 months in the USA and I have everything you don't have. Citizenship, residency, a good car, and a good apartment.
Now, when American women get pregnant, the government helps them stay single, work, and have an abortion. When a migrant gets pregnant, the government helps them cross the border, have the baby, get married, don't work, and put their hand out. Primetime producers crunch the numbers. A migrant family of 4 in New York could get over 20 grand a month in freebies. $500 a night at a hotel, $130 a day for food, and having 2 kids in public school costs us $5 grand a month. We didn't even tack on Mayor Adams' $1,000 cash gift cards, the free health care at the ER, or the free phones and free lawyers, or the $400,000 in free college tuition per dreamer. Meanwhile, taxpayers with jobs in New York pay thousands to live in a closet.
Welcome to my 80 square foot apartment that I pay $1,750 for.
This apartment's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps long.
I'm basically living in an RV or van without wheels.
New Yorkers aren't stupid. They're seeing migrants living large on the news while they get pounded for rent and groceries.
These guys are receiving like $4 grand a month. $4 grand a month to live in hotels and buy things and stuff. I'm like, aren't we the ones in need? Mm-hmm. The people from the United States. On top of that, we're giving away money to other countries. We're the ones in need. Like this is ridiculous. That's why I've never voted in my life, and I'm voting this year for Trump.
Crazy. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with, family. This is what we're dealing with. And Brother Ray said, yeah, George Soros is behind this. And we know this, but what are you going to do about it? It's nothing to know about it if we're not doing anything about it. The thing is, and I say that to say, when I hear people complaining about the crime, because I'll play a video in a few minutes if I could get it queued up of a brother who was almost stomped to death in California by Latino gangs. Where's that black-brown coalition at? That black people like to push. I hate when black people say black and brown. I want to stab you in your throat when you say that. See, I'm with y'all right now.
He's up with the language.
So angry and frustrated with stupidity. All your fingers should be chopped off.
Damn.
Before you go into a voting booth. You're just exuding your stupidity. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. My sister Marcia in the building. Africans on the rise. What's good?
Peace, family. How's everybody doing on this Black-tastic Thursday? I'm doing well. How's everyone here?
Brother Ray said, where's these Crips and Bloods at? Hold on, Brother Ray. I get your point. But where are all these retired law enforcement and military personnel at too? You live in the community. Where your ass at?
And that's it.
You got retired law enforcement and military in your rural neighborhoods that are forming coalitions and groups.
Oh.
What are you doing but sitting on your retirement? See, you had all that smoke when the Yurugu had you on the front line. But you ain't got no smoking on the front line for your own. That's cowardice to me. You know, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
We're on the same box. Let's share the box because I feel the same way. We know too many people that have the no and won't share the no with their children. I'm not even talking about with Tom, Dick, and Blow. I'm talking about your children, your nieces and your nephews. Share that information so that they can be at least a little bit free. But no, you want to hoard the information all for yourself and or have a collective group of people sit around and powwow. And, you know, Kwame Ture said it. We are just looking for intellectual masturbation. We're not looking to grow. And that's a part of organization, trying to grow people, and people don't want to grow people. And I definitely understand, like, these past few days in organizing people and doing things with people, I definitely have a new level of respect for our elders, because the things that they were able to do that we cannot do today, not because we cannot do it, just because people will not participate in the dues of the things. And it's just heartbreaking. I feel that we have no love for one another, and this is why we continue to spiral out of control. Back in the days, it seemed like brothers and sisters loved each other. Those brothers and sisters, those ancestors and elders that spent 381 days walking, they loved each other. They had an affinity for something. They knew something good was going to come out of it. But yes, like anything else, we get co-opted into comfort. And we've been so comfortable today that we don't understand what's happening. And tomorrow, all our children are going to turn around and look back at us and say, so this is happening because of you. And we're going to have to take accountability for that. When they say that to us, we're going to have to say, yes, it is. Because if we don't, we're equally as cowardly as they are now. So
are you speaking for
I don't know necessarily if everybody loved each other, but they were on one accord.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. See, I don't have to love you. I don't have to even like you. But we have to be on one accord when it comes to our freedom. We have to be, I don't care if you're a Muslim, like Brother Taz said, worship the head of lettuce. I don't care what it is that you do. I don't care. But we have to be on one accord. And it's us against everybody. It's us against everybody. Here's the video of the brother in California, Los Angeles, who was stomped almost to death. Check this out.
The videos are hard to watch. The teenage victim's mother tells us that 5 to 7 Hispanic teens beat, stomped, and stabbed her 16-year-old son at Dockweiler Beach.
When the doctor came to, like, soon as we walked through the door, they was like, we didn't know if your son was going to live. And I just started crying. And I just went over there and held my son's head and told him, Mommy's not going anywhere.
Fortunately, the Hawthorne teen survived after several tense days in the ICU.
He had a punctured lung, concussion. They had to put a tube through his chest to suck all the blood out.
The mother says that on Saturday night, on February 10th, her son had gone to see some friends at a party that had been promoted on social media.
My son was helping a friend. He helped a friend, like, get her up off the ground, and then the guy just asked him, like, to stop, and then my son wanted to help his.
The videos.
Hey, Sister Keisha, let me chime in on that real quick.
Go ahead.
Y'all know that I lived in Atlanta for a few years. I seen some people from, up top out there. So, I was living in Atlanta, and before I got there, I knew it was mostly New York and Chicago people. Of course, those are the two biggest cities. So those are the two biggest cities that are going to be somewhere else outside of where they're from originally. And I didn't really know that there was a lot of people from LA out there, you know, more than you think, because they more quiet and laid back. They West Coast vibe, you know, they're not East Coast like us. But anyway, what the point that I'm trying to make in saying that was that a lot of them people that were there when I was there 10, 15 years ago left LA because we remember Compton in the first days of Eazy-E and NWA and all that. Compton is mostly Latino now as a result of them running black people out of there back then. So, you know, we need to factor in those things too. And even though it's mostly Mexican, it ain't just Mexicans. It's the same people that doing the stuff that's here now, some of them, you know. We tend to look at Indian looking people and with that Latino thing in them and then label them as Mexican, and they ain't all Mexican.
They not. They
Right.
not. They not. They not at all. Sister Farnessa said they got us used to seeing black people being assaulted and murked. So now they are normalizing these Hispanics stomping us out. Very much true. But you also have to look at also these Ukrainian gangs, crime families here in the US that are joining forces with other nationalist groups. Y'all don't have to believe me. You can Google it for yourselves. But
they're actually down with the biggest gang out, and that's the government. That's who's the ultimate boss. The government is running all of them.
Facts. That's why I said these are state-sanctioned murders and assaults. The government is complicit in what is happening to us. That's why the government must pay reparations first. You were complicit in our demise. You have to pay that original debt, especially the goddamn Democratic Party, especially that party. Let's not forget that. But I want to keep in the same vein. Another one running around with these folks and got murked. Another lynching. Here we go.
Javante Jamal Helton. On Wednesday, February 21st, his body was found hanging from a tree at High Shoals Falls, located in Swallow Creek Wildlife Management Park in Towns County, Georgia. Hiker found his body, alerted authorities, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigations was called in to help assist in finding out what happened to Javante. The GBI is saying that an initial investigation has found that his death seems to be an isolated incident. We are all awaiting anxiously for the results of an autopsy and more information to be shared.
One of the things that they always say in these type of cases is that it's suicidal. They don't know. They never tell you white folks hung these people. But again, look who he running around with. Look who you're running around with. You see what I'm saying? Now, if this is all love, because people like to throw that word out, right? People can love who they want to love. I have yet to see white women in support of black men who are hung. White women who are in support of their children who are assaulted. Where are those groups at? Where these white women groups at? Where these white men who have fetishes for black women at? Where your group at? Where your groups at? You can't find none because they on one accord, god damn it. Even though they lay with you for 20 goddamn years and have 5 children, they still on one accord, idiot. But you can't see that. This is what frustrates me about us. We got to tell all of our history, not just the good parts. We got to clean up a lot of bad behavior. We cannot allow bad behavior to permeate our movements as well. We got to stop that. And we like to hide things in the closet. I don't. Because we got too many bad actors. But I'm going to get off my soapbox. As Sister Marie said, look who was hugging him. Yeah. Where is the groups of white women who live with, date, marry to black men? Where y'all groups at? I ain't see one yet. Where all of these white women with these biracial children at? Where your groups at?
Hey,
In
Keisha,
support of your children.
did you ever do a closer look into the death of Twitch Boss? Because this is the same case on a macro level, on a micro level. I mean, did you ever look more deep into it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I didn't either. But that brings that to light as you speak.
K Coop said, ask Scottie Pippen. Yeah, you're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today.
His wife broke up with Michael Jordan's son. It's official. It's in the papers. I'm not talking about something I heard on a rumor mill.
Listen, that whole thing is crazy. Like, why is it necessary that you seek someone outside of your mother? Why is that necessary?
Most times
you don't respect someone outside of your father. I don't understand that.
But sister, that would mean that they don't respect their parents.
Uh-oh. Shots fired. What she said? Say that again, sis.
They don't respect their parents. If the place where you had the most comfort and love, and maybe your home life wasn't comfortable and loving, but whatever, that was your home for 9 months. And then you want to go into some cold, barren place and feel like you're loved. And then she exploits you, takes you. If your mama treated you bad, I promise you this white woman would treat you even worse.
That's what you call a pimp.
Oh, shots fired, Brother Black. Uh-oh. You gotta love it. You gotta love it, family. But it's right. Come on, prove us wrong. I mean, we dropped the link in the chat, but we're gonna move on because I'm getting hot. What I want to know is, what is some of your favorite moments of Black history, or some of your favorite books? Put them in the chat, or you could come on and join us live. You ain't got to put your camera on. It's totally up to you. But you do have to have your microphone on. So the link is in the chat if you want to join us and let us know what your favorite books are. What are some of your favorite moments in history? K. Coop said Pippen's wife called the cops on him after 22 years of marriage, saying, what'd she say? Talking to her aggressively. She pulled that white woman card real quick, didn't she? But you ran away from what is naturally supposed to be with you. You ran away from it. I don't understand. I wish somebody could explain that philosophy to me. That when these folks get put on or they get some bread, they immediately run somewhere else. I don't know.
Sister.
I mean, Kanye ain't learned yet. He ain't got another one.
Sister Keisha.
Ahead, Brother Black.
The industry, come on. How many times are we going to say this? The industry is controlled.
No, I'm talking, I just used that example. I'm talking about even everyday folks. Why is that?
On that level, I agree with you.
You got everyday folks who are doing well financially. Why must they run over there?
Hold on. You want to answer?
The tea is hotter.
Okay.
Before you give that answer, the tea is hotter over there. It's much better. You know, that's the thing that I've seen on TV all my life. The only little thing that I saw on TV was the Cosby Show. That's the only relationship, because not a lot of people watch Good Times, let's just be honest, or the Jeffersons. That's not, I said not a lot, brother. I was bugging.
You just bugged. You just bugged your head. Nah, you out of here.
Your black card now. I'll take your black.
Listen,
You know, hell no. We're not going for that on this show. You bugging.
Before there was a concept.
We grew up with that.
How many of you dating white?
No, I was watching.
So you were watching the proper show.
I was watching the news in Haiti about the Tom Tom Maku. Yeah,
you were watching the proper
Papa and Baby Doc.
And they married black women, no matter what.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what I was watching on Haitian television.
But what I'm saying is the people that are comfortable not being with their own kind were watching something else. They got it.
No, he wasn't.
They was watching the same thing we was watching.
Hey, Marcia, we old enough to remember only 3 major channels.
But, you know, as
all
you
of us
saw,
here.
hold on, as you saw with that migrant family or gentleman talking about his child and, you know, all the money he was getting. Let's not forget, see, you gotta have the string to connect the dots. How they made black men leave the home to get some bread when they were down and out. Let's not forget, they didn't make black families stay together like they doing with these migrants, keeping their families together. It wasn't the same for us. Let's remember, here we go.
Are capable of working and are willing to work, but it's just the way it's set up. The mother and the children are better off if the husband isn't working or if the husband isn't there, and this breaks up so many poor families.
One of the saddest things is that many of the children whose parents are on welfare will in their turn end up in the welfare trap when they grow up. In this public housing project in the Bronx, New York, 3/4 of the families are now receiving welfare payments.
Well, Mr. Brown wanted to keep away from this kind of thing for a very good reason. The people who get on welfare lose their human independence and feeling of dignity. They become subject to the dictates and whims of their welfare supervisor, who can tell them whether they can live here or there, whether they may put in a telephone, what they may do with their lives. They're treated like children, not like responsible adults. And they're trapped in the system. Maybe a job comes up that looks better than welfare, but they're afraid to take it, because if they lose it after a few months, it may be 6 months or 9 months before they can get back onto welfare. And
you know, I like what Brother Salih said. He said, just look at how that hat just smiling while he telling this. You see? You see the difference in our walk of life and others? And then they say, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps when everybody else is getting a leg up and a hand up and a give in or anything else you want to call it. Brother Black, your thoughts on that piece?
Man, what that reminded me of, the last time I was in the system in New York, and I went to an orientation, the one I forget right now, it's in Bushwick, over there near where the J and the L stop.
Thornton?
I don't remember the name of the street, but I know the area because down the street from Bushwick Projects and Woodhull Hospital.
Yeah, it sounds
in that area. Yeah. Anyway, I was over there and I went to orientation thinking that when I get to orientation, it's going to be a whole bunch of girls with 3 kids and like high school dropouts that been in and out of prison and, you know, them kind of people. And when I got there, it looked like a working office like in Midtown. Because everybody was like, you could tell these people ain't living off the system exclusively, if at all. You know what I'm saying? These are people that lost good jobs and they here. And most of them was black. And I was like, oh, snap. Because, you know, I had been in and out of the system too. So like and then I saw that change and it was crazy. Like, how can you survive off of this if you was making even 50,000? This is about 10 years ago. Wow. You can't survive on that money. That little bit. So, that's what it reminded me of in my version of looking at it more recently.
Destruction of our black family, it's really disgusting.
Yeah.
And these you Rugus and hats is at the helm of it.
Yeah.
But we got black politicians like this who's standing with Ukraine. Neo-Nazi fools.
That's Zelensky in the back, right?
I don't know who the hell that is. No, I don't think it's him. It's not Zelensky. It's someone else.
Okay.
But you standing with them and against your own people. And black people voted this fool into office. Voted him into office. Where is he with you? Except practicing nepotism with some dusty homeboys and homegirls. That's what's happening.
Where are we with knocking him across his head?
Because he's black. Give him a chance. He can take his chance and stick it where the sun don't shine. To me, he's a traitor. Period.
Absolutely. But where are we with knocking him off his hat? Where are we kicking at him? Where are we doing anything to show that we are sick and tired of him? Like Fannie Lou says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, but we ain't doing nothing and we're sick and tired. So we are just as culpable as anything else because we're not placing our attacks. And I get it. There's a lot of things that's happening, but we're doing what we got to do. But at the same time, we got to call out for our people to do what they must do because he'll keep on going. He got another, year and a half left before he start knocking on our doors again, talking about, hey, it's time to reelect me and stuff. I'm going to, and give you false promises yet again. And you're going to say, well, I've known this guy for so long and this guy is a good guy. He's going to be good for us. He wasn't good for you when he was the borough president. He's not good for you as the mayor, and he's not good for you as a friend. Anyone who calls him a friend is not
the borough president. I didn't like him when he was in 2012. Now, I want y'all to do me a favor. Look for his videos from 2012, and you see him pushing the LGBTQ agenda. I mean, we played it here on the platform before, so y'all don't have to believe me. He only in it for himself, as Brother Black said. Period. And it's and a few who will kiss his coattail while he kissing the hat's coattail, because that's what he does. He eats their poop, if you ask me. That's where he at. He's a poop eater. I'm just trying to be nice with my language here. Stop laughing, Sister Marcy and Brother Tabitha. Y'all know why I'm saying this daggone.
I'm laughing too. Why you yell at me?
Uncle Maurice say he is toast. His political career is over.
Look, check this out, though. Real talk. Let me just say this real quick, Sister Keisha. I'm sorry. All I got to say about that is this. If anybody worth anything as a black man today because of them, then it's all inside of the game that needs to be played out. It's just playing out now. And it's so raw and obvious and in your face, because whether you like them or not, and this is not about me endorsing anybody for anything. What a major thing that 45 did, being I don't want to say his name and trigger algorithms that hate this show, is that he exposed the ugliness and the rawness of how they do it by stating it, as opposed to just playing along with it. Because his opposition was so against him, he had to do it that way. So one thing, it's so obvious at this point. Like somebody died suddenly, like 25 years ago. Especially if the feds got involved, they knew how this person died like in an hour after they found the body. Now people dying suddenly, they don't know why. What happened? It's the same thing like going to the moon. They said they went to the moon in the 60s, And with all this great technology and engineering and computers and quantum physics and blah, 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 they don't know how to get back now in 2020s. What the hell? Is anything I said inaccurate?
Not at all. Not at all, brother.
Okay, I'm done there. Off my soap.
Brother, you trying to tell me that the moon landing didn't happen?
It's just like they got there, man.
Saying nothing because I don't want no strike. Go ahead. I'm
It's
let
a
y'all
crystal
say.
quartz rocket ship.
It's a crystal quartz. Well, brother, you know, if you wrap the right amount of copper around your wrist and your neck, and you have to have the right size quartz with the right weight and the correct amount of carats, that you can astral project yourself to the metaphysical plane known as the moon. You know that, right, brother? Okay.
You sound like that dude on In Living Color.
Totally Metamucil. With that Oswald.
You got Sister Marcia. She can't even raise her hand. You see the shenanigans?
Oh, that means she ready to argue with Tad. You about to start bugging out on the computer.
Don't say it. Don't say it. We only got a few more minutes because I got to cut out of here early tonight. So don't say it. Don't say it.
But I mean, I love to laugh. We love to joke to make light of it. But the reality is we got to come with a new paradigm on how we move forward. Because as it's shown, we can't take everybody with us because everybody's really not as serious as they say. I had a conversation with somebody recently, and we were talking about the elders. And I was disheartened, Sister Keisha, how many elders took the jab. And I'm going to be honest with you. With all this knowledge and all this information we're supposed to have and we're supposed to know better, folks really took it. Now, I'm not knocking nobody for doing what they felt was in their best interest. But we do have to spot the contradictions if we know that it's the manufactured a biological weapon against us. If we really understand how these people operate and how they function, God bless my mother. She took it and transitioned. But we knew that's the consequence of it. And so many people who gamble with their health and took the words of the ops. Because those folks are the ops. How do we do that? And then all earnest say that these people are the enemy and we got to steer clear of them. But the moment they sold the fear package, people bought it. Who's literally supposed to know better. So we have to come with a new paradigm of real serious people. And it may just start with us four and a few people in the audience. Because the reality is everybody likes to complain. That's why I like to joke, have fun, smile, because I love y'all. And tomorrow ain't promised to none of us. And we know this to be a fact because we got new ops in our hoods now. Because they're dumping right in our hoods. They ain't out in Beverly Hills or Deer Park, Michigan, and all these. They not out there. They dumped off right here with us. And remember when I was working with what I said, these people are wild. They are wild. They bent on violence. And unfortunately, our folks don't get it because we've been sold this liberal theology and psychology that as Black people, we've been the most downtrodden group in this country. So we should accept anybody who's downtrodden, no matter who they are. That's why they came up with this gay is the new Black. Anything synonymous with, anything that deal with oppression, they make it synonymous with Black, as if we don't have high self-esteem and we only view ourselves as victims. That's the psychosis they got our folks under. That anybody being oppressed, you should identify with them because you Black. I don't identify with crackheads. I'm sorry. I never smoked crack. Why should I identify with them? I never crossed the border looking for a better life because I was forced to be here. We are not the same. But they dump everybody on us. Oh, you can't hate gays, you Black. You can't help trannies, you Black. You can't help migrants, you Black. You gotta love everybody, but nobody loves us. And unfortunately, we adopt that psychology and let it be ingrained in our subconscious. Meanwhile, folks look at us as a footstool, saying, yeah, I can move to the Black neighborhoods. We can sell them whatever we want to because they'll buy it. They ain't smart. Just smile in their face and shake their hands. I remember one time I walked in the store. This was years ago, and some young brother was telling a Arab dude in the store to say the N-word. He's like, "Nah, you gotta say yo, my nigga." And I said, "Yo, don't listen to him. Don't ever say that. You're gonna get hurt saying that." But now you fast forward, Sister Keisha, Sister Marcia, Brother Black. I see continental Africans calling each other that without understanding the history of it. Bad enough we trying to shake it.
I knew it was over when I heard Jamaicans saying it. Yeah.
I can remember when when we had a level of decency, even going back to the clip, Sister Keisha, about welfare. See, a lot of people got to watch videos and stuff about that and read about it. I could remember that stuff. I remember being the child of a teenage mother on welfare. I remember all that stuff. I remember her getting her first job, how happy she was. I remember the struggle. I remember listening to old men talk about the laws and politics and how all of this stuff is done by design. But when they was talking to Sister Keisha, right, I still lived in a Black community, not a neighborhood, a community, because the law officer was Black, the insurance officer was Black, the tire repairman was Black, the barber was Black, the cleaners was Black. I could tell you most of the dentist was Black. All of this was right on one block, Sister Keisha. This wasn't even leaving my block, not crossing those streets, all on one block. These businesses were there, and I watched crack come, and I watched it all get moved out. I watched the prettiest women in the neighborhood just become the worst looking ones in the neighborhood. Good fathers just lose their jobs and wither to nothing. And all of this is done intentionally. And unfortunately, we don't see these people for who they are. And we could talk about Malcolm, we could talk about Dr. King, but do we really study their teachings and pointing out who the ops are?
Facts.
But because now and Sister Marcia was bringing up some good points earlier. But what I want to add, right, about our elders, right, Sister Marcia, about what they've done. But I want to say what's going on now is there's the distraction. Because our elders didn't have video games and 200 and something television stations, and everything wasn't on demand, and all food wasn't fast, and everybody ate at home. You talked about current events because you've seen how they directly affected you. But now when you watch the news, they make it seem like it's happening to other people. Just be on the lookout. It ain't happening to you, but it could happen to you. Like even when they had that quote unquote bombing on the R train, I think it was last year or the year before last. You know how many phone calls I was getting? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? No, what's going on? I'm at work. All the out of town people out the country, they made it seem like Brooklyn was burning down. Even during Hurricane Sandy. Remember, I just moved to Staten Island during Hurricane Sandy. Everybody calling, you okay? You okay? You okay? I'm like, nothing's wrong. Like, you sure? Yo, my house is up. Only thing we lost was electricity. That was all we lost was power. The worst that happened, we lost a piece of siding off the side of the house. A piece of siding. But when I came to Brooklyn, because we stayed with my mother, because we didn't have no lights and stuff. So we brought our food and everything, and we watching the news, man. They make you think Staten Island was the new Atlantis. You think the whole borough was underwater. I'm like, it ain't even like that. But these are lies that our people are told and sold, but knowing that these are coming from the people who can't tell the truth. We don't even critique and analyze something they say. One more point. I remember the Million Youth March, because I was there, me and my mother, we took the children. And they said Dr. Khalid started a riot and then drove off in his Rolls Royce. It was very nice, too. I had the privilege of being in it. Only Rolls Royce I've ever been in, to tell you the truth. The floors feel like pillows. I didn't know that. The floors feel like pillows in the Rolls Royce. But it was just so funny because people knew that I was definitely a supporter of Dr. Khalid, and I spent time with him. This is back when I was rolling with him. But I wasn't on no detail that day. I was out there with my family. And everybody said, they regurgitated what they heard, that Dr. Khalid started a riot and ran. If anybody's there, they would know that the police was agitating the crowd before the cops even came. And After Dr. Khaled walked off the stage, he walked through Harlem. He ain't getting no car. He walked through Harlem with the whole crowd behind him. But people bought into the lie of our ops, who's always going to slant the story, because even though it's information, it's a information business. They have to sell messages to you. And that's what they're doing. They're packaging lies and they're selling it. And unfortunately, we keep buying it. So this goes back to my point about not having to spend money, but let's change our mindset on what we choose to believe and what we don't believe. And even the things we do believe and may sound good, let's investigate that a little further. Let's peel back the layers, because sometimes it may sound good, but depending on who the messenger is, can they follow through? Can they really execute this plan, the idea they have to move our people forward? Because that's another thing we got going on in our community. We're untrustful of a lot of leadership, because a lot of leadership has let us down. And the ones that are solid do get tired. They get tired because there's nobody helping pick up the slack. Some people just come to do ashes and black fists and black powers in the meeting, but then don't show up when it's time to really put the boots to the ground and show up on the front line. And then there's some who just, it's hard for me to trust a person who don't take care of their family. I'm sorry. If you want to prop yourself as a,
one more time,
if you want to prop yourself as a leader and a community activist, what's your family life like? And I'm not saying we got to be all in your business, because that ain't our business. But if you can't organize the people up under your roof, don't think you're gonna come in the community and organize. Let's be real. If you don't have a relationship with your significant other, and even if y'all separated, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, if y'all can't have cordial communication and work on what's in the best interest of your children, if you can't come to that agreement, don't act like you got this grand idea that we're going to march on Washington, and we're going to go to Albany, and we're going to do all this, that, and the third. Come on, man. Show me your character. Show me that even though you and your ex ain't together, she still respects you because of the man that you are, to still meet your obligations. Show me that. Then I can respect it. But don't be like, oh man, my ex-wife, she just jealous because you know I'm doing this and she ain't really down for the cause. Nah, whether she conscious or not is insignificant, because you made a commitment to her and your children. This is your direct bloodline. So don't talk to me about no ancestors and all that, and you don't got a good relationship with your parents and the
Facts.
people in your family.
It's like what I said earlier. Cannot accept bad behavior. You can't believe me and you got side chicks and all kind of stuff. And come on, enough. You can't be talking about, well, we going here and you whoring yourself out.
Trying to crush
See,
cookie.
again, bad behavior. It will get caught up. You will get caught up and messed up out here. So again, this is where we're at, family. Brother Ted, Brother Black, Sister Marcia, I need y'all to engage in conversation while I try to shut this thing down, because again, I got to get up out of here, family.
Yeah, because I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, because the thing is, I'm not saying nobody has to be perfect, because none of us are perfect. All of us are growing in our own rights, but we at least got to be committed. Don't have to be perfect, but we have to be committed, because we're literally talking about our survival.
Yes, sir.
See, I haven't lost no children, thank goodness, to the violence of the streets, to the propaganda campaign that you got to be a gangbanger or you got to be this super thorough gangster. But I did lose my mother to the propaganda of doing this to preserve your health, and had the opposite effect. And I'll be honest with you, I begged her, Ma, please don't do it. I said, Ma, you know I've been studying this stuff. And what she said to me was the same thing that they told her. But I miss y'all. I want to see y'all. I can't travel without it. I said, Ma, you can travel. I said, I done been to Mexico. I done been to Florida, been to Georgia, I've been to California. I done been everywhere. I done traveled. I left the country and came back without it. don't believe that. But if you don't go nowhere and that box is the only source of information you really have, you're going to be misinformed. And you're going to believe it because they're going to have visual aids. It's like anybody that does a presentation. You have your talking points, you have your bullet points, then you have visual aids to bring your message home. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. You have to unpack it. However, it's a persuasive speaking technique that they are skilled at. And the thing is that we're critical mass now because we saw the video of the young brother getting stomped out. But we're not even talking about the incidents of our young people hurting each other in our community because they lack love and empathy and respect for themselves, the children behind them, and the elders. Because I tell you, a young boy in Chicago got killed. A young guy in his 20s. He had his children with him, and they murked him. They tore him down. They tore him down in front of his children, and I couldn't imagine. But the heartlessness, like, you know, we grew up in the hood, right? We knew fights and all that stuff. You know, even if it only came to fisticuffs, it was a time and a place for that stuff. He with his moms, he with his kids. I'm seeing him another time. They don't care no more.
How can they care?
Aired out the funeral. They
How
aired out.
can they care? How can they care, and why should they care? They've been doing this to us since time after time. We've walked around, our ancestors have walked around and saw family members on a tree. So they've already indoctrinated us in seeing this. And now we're just so, oh, it just happened. We see shootings after shootings of policemen to, look, again, the Staten Island men, Eric Gardner. We all saw this over and over again on the TV. That desensitizes us. And that makes people who want to inflict violence like, oh, it's not going to matter to someone else who's there or around. It doesn't matter. And so we have a nation full of people who are very desensitized, who don't care about anything, who lack empathy and love, like we were both just saying. So it is perpetual in our environment until we can show. And then you have these TV shows that showing people fighting left, right, and the third. Like, there is nowhere on screen or off screen where there is care, love, and kindness going on. And it's horrible because we have a soft spot, but we have to be realistic on what they've been doing to us perpetually, how they've been programming us perpetually, until we create a formula to deprogram our families, our communities, and then our nation. Then it's going to continue until we have those real conversations. Like you said, Africans will call each other the N-word or someone else, and they don't even understand the repercussion of it because in their country, they didn't have that type of pressure. That pressure wasn't on them, so they don't feel it. And
you know, no, I agree with you, sis. And that's why part of our work is to make it that soft space for our folks. We have to really operate and function in love. That's why any hood I go to, I be in the worst hood sometimes. You know, I mean, my hood ain't bad no more. Bed-Stuy is nice. It's safe. You walk with your poodle.
It's real gentrified. It's real gentrified.
Go to the Bronx. The Bronx ain't there yet.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. And this is why I'm hard on rhetoric. Because, see, what we do is give information. We give information, we give sources, we show and prove, we give videos, we put in its proper context, give history, laws, policies, right? Some folks who say they're for our people just spew rhetoric. And I don't want to sound like a liberal and say they spew hate. However, you're putting fuel on the fire of people who are already filled with hate. We have to deprogram our young folks with love. Let them know that they're loved. When I used to kick it to the little dudes on my block, I always told him I loved him. Why? Because my son is a little dude. I mean, he's a young man now, but when he was a teenager, I would treat them just like my son. And that's where the respect level come in, because one thing I always did was respect my children. Even though I'm the boss, I always tell them, this is dictatorship in this house. But one thing I understood too was how the psychology works. How you could break a child based on how you treat them in front of their peers. And I was always very mindful of that. I can remember one time when he was staying with his mom. He was about 14, 15 years old. And something told me, walk down the block. The spirit just told me. I ain't had no reason to walk down the block. Something just said, walk on the next block. I had no reason to go there, but there was a bunch of little dudes, and they were smoking weed. And I see my son in the crowd. It's like, what up, y'all? What up? What up? I said, come here, let me holler at you. I said, yo, you smoking? He's like, no. So let me smell your fingers. His fingers was good. His eyes was clear. I said, all right. I said, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to tell your friends good night, all right? And see you in the house. He said, all right, cool. I dapped him up like I do and told his little homies, all right, I'll see y'all later. Y'all be safe out here. Just like that. I didn't embarrass him with the F you doing out here, this, that, and the third, because he know we have a respectful relationship. Because one thing I always tell my children is I shouldn't have to hit you or yell at you to understand that what I'm telling you is because I love you. And this is how I talk to the young people in the hood, in the community. We have to let them know that somebody loves them, because the Sister Marcia, I know you know this. A lot of love that we give these young people, some of them are not used to, even at home, from their own parents and grandparents. They used to be calling dumb and stupid, or even ugly and dirty and stink. Whatever it is, their esteem is not built up. They're not taught that somebody values them. Because a lot of times I ask them, have you ever heard this, that, and the third before? They was like, nah, I never heard that. And you know, and I would tell them, I tell you this because I love y'all. I would never want to see nothing happen to y'all. And they know it's the truth, because these little dudes is trying to survive. That's why they got the switch on them all the time, because they're afraid. They don't want to get hurt. And they like to hear an adult say, I don't want to see nothing happen to you. Because the way they don't think nobody care about them. Because most,
you know, Brother Tad, my Aunt Marie says the same thing. She says the same thing. Is terrible to break children down in that way. And also she also talks about like scaring them or anything like that. My Aunt Marie absolutely despises that. She said, because you already invoke a nature of fear in them. But I just wanted to put my 2 cents in it. Go ahead, brother.
100%
No,
right.
you put some good sense in there, because they don't have that at home. And when you don't have that at home, you're looking for so many external forces. And sometimes it is a gang. And sometimes it is like, oh, you got to do this to get part of the gang. And so you're over there shooting someone, and then you end up locked up because you tried to fill a void that was missing.
To prove your commitment to that thing.
Right, because you didn't have it at home. At home, nobody hugged you. Nobody gave you a hot meal. Nobody cooked for you. Or if they cook for an occasion, but not cook for you on a daily basis, right? Oh, let's go get McDonald's. Let's go get Popeyes. Let's go get. But how about sit at home? Let's go do this. Let's read together. Let's do things. You know, I'm done.
And I'm going to wrap this up, because I always say we got to lead with love. And at the same token, I'm still the disciplinarian, because you always got to keep them in their place too. Let them know. Like I said, I always let my children know, this is a dictatorship. It's not a democracy. It's what I say. Because I say we a team, but I'm the team captain. So y'all got to play it like I tell you, you know, because I get strict too when the rules are not followed. But you're not stupid. You're not dumb. We don't name call. That I don't do. I'm not going to say you stupid. I don't, nah. And sometimes, I kid you not, right, Sister Marcia? When they really get on my nerves, I give them a big hug. I said, I'm going to hug you, because if I hit you, I'm going to hurt you. Come here. Because I'm really mad at you. So because, you know, it's energy. But how are we gonna let that energy loose? And that's why we got the relationship we have. And I'm grateful now because my children are adults and they're good people. Is there room for improvement? Of course, there's room for all of us to improve, you know. But I am definitely proud of the people that they are. And I tell them every time I speak to them. Great people, great parents, definitely great children. Excellent siblings to one another. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, but this is how we start. We lead with love because we're not going to change a lot of these old people minds. We just not. We have to focus on the young people, and that's for all of us, the people in the audience. Let's start with the babies. Even if we can't get to the 13-year-old knuckleheads in the family, let's start with the little 2- and 3-year-olds. Make sure they don't go in that direction, but we got to be consistent with it. And that's the only way it's really going to work.
Consistency is the key, and they need to understand that value system, right? That value of if I do, and it's not. It shouldn't be on a rewards base. It's I do to make myself proud, you know. So many things. But back to the Bronx.
Listen, yes, because we got to wrap this up, family. I definitely got to get out of here. But before we do, let's remember this Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m., celebrating our story, 110 North Franklin Street in Hempstead, New York, with Dr. Maya and Africans on the Rise. You can check them out this weekend. That's 1 to 3 p.m., March 2nd, Saturday, celebrating our story with Dr. Maya.
Bring
110 North Franklin
children.
Street in Hempstead, New York. Sister Marcia?
Bring the children. This is for the children. This is not an adult-based conversation. This is for the children. You have children, you have grandchildren, come out with them, have fun. They get to watch a movie, have popcorn or chips, whatever they like. But this is strictly focused on the children. My goal is to wake up one child at a time. I'm sick and tired of trying to manage adults.
Facts.
I'm moving to the future, and our future is very bright. These children are so talented and so smart. And if we could give them just a little bit, we'll see miles and miles of progress for our people. It's in the children. So come out, enjoy yourself. And that's all I can say. There'll be dancers and all of this spectacularness.
Yes, indeed. And DTR 360 Books production presents at the Mother Gaston Heritage Center in Brownsville, the Brownsville Heritage House. That's 581 Mother Gaston Boulevard, Brooklyn, New York, with former City Councilman Charles Barron. The time is 6 to 10, and I will also be speaking on this panel as well. Again, you know, Thorough Black Talk. We got 100 jobs over here. We got 100 jobs. Trust me when I tell you. But, you know.
Shout out to our brother Quasi.
Yeah, brother Quasi, DTR 360 Books.
Shout out to brother Quasi. We be remiss if we don't big up our young brother who do phenomenal things.
Yes, indeed. He's always working and working hard. And if there's some books that you would like to read about our story, you can definitely check out DTR 360 Books on Instagram and tell them that Thorough Black Talk sent you. So again, I will also be speaking on this panel as well. Hope to see you out Saturday. It is what it is. Also, if you are a bike rider and you Black and female, join Black Girls Do Bike 10 a.m. either in Prospect Park or you can meet them in Central Park. We got 2 different locations. But if you take this ride, it's a 6-mile ride. If you take this ride, you get 50% off the TD 5-borough bike tour. So for those bikers out there, you taking the TD 5-borough bike tour, you might want to come out this Saturday morning.
Where's that for the brothers? Because I want 50% off because I'm doing the TD bike tour again this year. You know, I do it almost every year. I want 50% off.
Well, we got to find some Black brothers who can hook you up because this is for the females. And shout out to our sister, our queen, Sister Pam Africa, who I messaged earlier this week. She reached out to me. I hope you got your shirt, Sister Pam. Shout out to her and brother Raza Khan. Next month, We begin Black Women's History Month, and we're going to go all the way in, beginning with Mothers of the Revolution. Mothers of the Revolution. Sisters, do we need to clean ourselves up? Yes, we do. And all the problems that we have is coming through. It's coming through next month. Sorry, Brother Tad. Black Girls Do Bike is for ladies only. Brother Blacksmith, your final thoughts and commentary?
Okay.
2 minutes, brother. 2 minutes. We got to get up out of here. I got to call.
I got you. Real quick. We didn't mention it on the show, and I wanted to mention it earlier, but I didn't want to take away from what we did already. Jacob Rothschild died on Tuesday, I believe. The top devil.
Yes, he's good and gone.
There you go. So we need to focus on that. That is a great indicator because they saying King Charles is already dead, and in fact, I believe he's been gone since right after his whatever they call his reptilian mother was. Yeah. So these are great indicators, and with the op being desperate is why we're seeing all of the crazy, obviously illegal moves they've been making in the last few months. So when you look at it like that, coupled with the cosmic flash, and I posted a article on my blog, melaninforever.blogspot.com, that they had 10 sunspots, and the smallest one was bigger than the Earth. So the solar flares and flashes that I've been talking about since I've been on this show, and way before that, is happening. Look out for the big one, and everything going to change in a flash. If you don't believe or even want to consider what we're saying on this show, you will be soon, because that flash is going to flash in your ass. All right. I love y'all. Don't forget www.melanin.forever.blogspot.com. Buy my book. I don't want to ask y'all for money. So if you want something from me, you know what I'm saying, and I'm giving up good info, get my book and support the brother. All right. melaninforever.blogspot.com. I'm Elias Flavius on Facebook. I know Sister Keisha got to go. I'm going to keep it brief. Next up. Peace.
Quickly, Aunt Marie says, House of Rothschild. Check it out on YouTube.
All right, Sister Marcia.
Yep. So, family, again, I want us to be victorious, and victory starts right at home. So, start with yourself. Get yourself on the right page. Study something. Read anything. Read anything. I don't care what it is. Nobody cares. Let your inner self lead you on the path of righteousness. As long as you're going to that path, we're going to be all right. Remember, come out on Saturday. If you can't come out on Saturday, there will be a Zoom link available. But, you know, you want the children to understand love. You got to bring them together and let them see us in love with each other. So enjoy your week. See y'all next week for another Third Black Talk on a Blacktastic Thursday. Brother Tad.
Peace, sis.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Definitely go check out Sister Marcia if you can, and our Sister Keisha if you can. Shout out to Dr. Mayat and all our Baltimore people, Brother Motep Fatu at PLM, Dr. Minister Assar, and Brother Marcus Sankofa Nix at TNAT. You know, our Baltimore family always doing something dope and fly, so we definitely salute them. But audience, hopefully you was inspired by something you heard tonight. And it's your turn to go out and inspire others. Don't forget to lead in love. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. And remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for another episode of Thorough Black Talk. I see it have an echo. So I'm just going to shut this down and let's get out of here. Y'all stay safe and dangerous out there. Good night, y'all. We're out.
Peace. Motherfucker.